Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Daniel Hendrix, zooming in from Long Beach. Daniel is a retired U.S. Coast Guard veteran with 21 years of service, now a business development strategist specializing in dual-use technology, helping companies grow by building connections, shaping brand voice, and driving opportunities across government, academia, and industry. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you, Danny. Appreciate that. That was some kind words.
Yeah, thanks. So tell us a little bit. Let's start back before you were in the Coast Guard. What got you excited about entering the Coast Guard, or just other branches, and what you did there, and maybe some cool stories.
Yeah. I grew up in a smaller town outside of Stockton, California, Valley Springs, and I grew up playing sports. Played football, basketball, and baseball almost my whole life, and so I was just an athlete. So I always looked for that team camaraderie. Really got fascinated with law enforcement when I was in high school, and kind of thought that was going to be it. I was like, hey, I'm going to do some law enforcement. Ended up finding out you had to be 21 to be a law enforcement officer in California. So I was like, okay, what's the next option? So I started looking at the military branches, looked at the Marine Corps a little bit, and then I found the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard, as one of their main missions, is law enforcement. So I started talking to a recruiter in Sacramento, and that was it. That was history. I signed up in 2002 and stayed in for 21 years.
Wow. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is retirement still 20 years in the Coast Guard, like the other branches of military?
Well, as of now, they've switched the pension program around a little bit. So they have a blended retirement now. But yes, it was. So it's 20 years to the pension. And so I did 21.
Nice. Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. So this country was worth it.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? There's a reason why we're the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
And so tell us kind of what you did. Were you stationed locally? Did you go out and be stationed in different places, or how was that for you, the Coast Guard life?
Yeah, it's so the Coast Guard is a worldwide organization. We have people all over the world, and we've been deployed to every major war and conflict. We help out. We're in Afghanistan, we're in Iraq with everybody else. So the Coast Guard is just like any other armed forces. We're out there. Myself, I did law enforcement with the Coast Guard. So I did maritime, and I was a maritime enforcement specialist, and we specialize in law enforcement and port security for the Coast Guard. My first duty station was Kodiak, Alaska, though. So if you can imagine that, young California kid going to Kodiak, Alaska, 19 years old, that was pretty adventurous.
Right.
But looking back on it now is the greatest time of my life. Like, I really grew at that time. I was by myself in a little tiny island in the middle of nowhere, So that was fun. And then from there, I went to Virginia to my first school. And from Virginia, I went to San Diego. And then from San Diego, I stayed in California the rest of my career. So I was in San Diego for 2 tours down there, and then I went to the Bay Area, and I was up there for a tour, or 2 tours actually. So I was in Alameda for 1 tour. That was a tactical law enforcement team, kind of that traveled and did law enforcement throughout the United States and really throughout the world. But I just was in the United States personally. So that was a great time. And then from there, I went to Petaluma, California, and I was the deputy chief of police for a Coast Guard police department up there. And then from there, came back down to Southern California, where I retired from. I was I ended up being the recruiter in charge of Los Angeles, and that covers LA, Orange County, Ventura, all those areas. So had a really good time, got to give back to the Coast Guard, got to give back to, I feel like the Coast Guard changed my life.
Mhm.
And so like I wanted to give that back. And in fact, I put my niece in right before I got out. So my niece is in the Coast Guard and she's stationed here in San Pedro.
Nice, nice. Sounds like a
Yeah.
very fulfilling career for you. You kind of covered different realms of it. Now, for our audience who might not know, what's the definition of the timeline of a tour? So when you mentioned tours, what does that mean in time wise?
Yeah, so they can range, from anywhere from 2 years to 6 years typically, but mine were around 4 year tours. So every four
Mhm.
years, you pretty much moved around.
And did they
I
do
got
that
cut a little bit
purposely?
short here and there.
Did
Yeah, so yeah, you do that purposely, needs of the service, and it's just a diversity. If you get one person in one location, they never want to move, and it's kind of like messes up the system of the Coast Guard. It's not like the regular
okay.
like well, so the Coast Guard is part of DHS, so it's not like a border patrol type thing. You don't just get in a location and that's your post for the rest of your career type of deal.
Right, right. And I guess as you guys, as being part of the Coast Guard, you become well-rounded doing different duties in different areas, and you also get to explore different areas too on your off-duty time.
Yeah, yep. I was very lucky just to have been the places that the Coast Guard sent me to, and
Hmm.
I got to work and be around the community, and it was just a good time. I really enjoyed helping out and serving
Hmm.
the nation.
Right, right, right. No, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So once you're retired, what are you doing now, and how did that transition come about?
Yeah, yeah. So I was telling you, I lived in Anaheim Hills. I had a house out there, and I got accepted into a program called the Honor Foundation, and it's a pretty special program. It helps special operation guys transition and find meaningful careers after service.
Hmm.
And so it's ran by the Navy SEAL found our Navy SEALs and Navy SEAL Foundation funded. So
Hmm.
they typically don't let Coast Guard members in. In fact, I'm the first and still the only Coast Guard person in the organization.
Hmm.
There's over 3,000 fellows now. So trying to break down that barrier and get more coasties in because there's a lot more people that have done cooler things that I have now.
Do you have to be a SEAL to be part of that organization?
You either have to be a special operator or you had to have some kind of connection to the community, which I did. So in the Coast Guard, we don't, as of right now, we don't have an official special operations command. So we don't
Hmm.
fall under SOCOM or any other of the commands like the SEALs
Hmm.
or any other special operations. So
Right.
the Coast Guard doesn't officially have a special operations, but what we do have is the deployable specialized forces, DSF. So I was part of that most of my career.
Hmm.
So I did a lot of cool things. I did a lot of security for President Obama, and that's
Hmm.
kind of where I had a lot of inter service mingling and worked with a
Hmm.
lot of
Hmm.
different people. Not only that, I did counter narcotics for a long time, so worked with a
Hmm.
lot of interesting people.
Yeah, no, no, that sounds like a lot of fun and maybe a little bit scary at times with what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I got into a couple pretty wild boat chases in Southern California.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. No, we,
Yeah,
we hear about we see those on the news, right? When they capture somebody or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
But
So it gets pretty scary, especially if somebody's trying to smuggle people because that's just so scary for them and for us and
right,
for everybody, and
right,
just trying to make a quick dollar and scam kind of the people out of their money. And,
right,
I
right.
know everybody's trying to make it better for themselves, but that's not the right way because it's just so dangerous, so dangerous.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, and if something happens when you guys are chasing them and you have innocent passengers on those boats.
Oh yeah, and that's what we're worried about is, maybe the boat capsizing and everybody going in the water, then, it's dark out. We have
Hmm.
it's picking 28 people up out of the water after it flips over is would be pretty intense. So
Right.
you just have to, be careful and make sure everybody's safe.
And then the question would be who's the good guy and who's the bad guy? Because those guys want to get rescued too.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yep. And one of the boat chases I got into, it was probably 2 months prior to that. we got the Coast Guard got in a pretty significant boat chase, and one of the vessels ran over one of our vessels and killed one of our members. So
Oh, dang.
yeah, and so actually San Pedro, the base there, is named after him. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, he has it now. He has a cutter named after him. It's Terrell Horn is his name. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you just never know. You just have to be careful.
Yeah, yeah. Enforcement is always the unknown piece of it. You never know, whether it's on land or sea, right? Because if you're going to do something, pick somebody up at a house or something like that, you don't know who's in there, and the
Yeah,
weapons that they have, and
yeah.
you know.
That's actually a really good point. You know, with the Coast Guard, we always made it a point to say that nothing ever was routine. So even if it was like
Mhm.
a typical thing that we typically did, we would never say it was a routine thing. It was just another action that we had to take.
Right. Don't become complacent, because when you
Yep.
do, surprises happen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So now with the Honors Foundation, what's your role there, and how does that work, and what are you guys doing to help these servicemen
Yeah.
migrate back into
Um,
society?
Sorry, I kind of went on a little tangent there, but yeah, let's get back on track here. So, the Honor Foundation, I'm a fellow there, and so it's a 3-month program. And after you're done, you're still attached there for life. They help you out, so they're always going to connect you with industry jobs. They're just a very cool network because it's. I guess one thing I just want everybody to know is when veterans leave service, they automatically lose connection and they lose their sense of purpose because they had this job that they were trying to accomplish these goals, and now they lose it. And those are the two main contributing factors to suicidal ideation. So you get those immediately when you depart service. And not only that, typically service members have one other contributing factor to to that factor as well, to suicidal ideation. So veterans do have a higher rate in suicide, and that's one of the reasons. So bringing people together and connecting them, especially veterans after service, is very important to give them kind of show them what there is out in the civilian life, because we don't know what the careers are. We know what our careers are in the military. So
Right.
showing them, hey, this is the careers out here. This is what you could do with your soft skills. You learned all these leadership skills and all these other
Mhm.
skills. This is what you can do out here. And so that program shows you that. And they also kind of get you ready, like resume writing, LinkedIn, just anything and everything you can think of to try to launch you into a successful career.
Right now, see that as you're telling, saying that I'm kind of thinking, and that would almost be like if you're halfway into your career per se, because 20 years, you mean 20 years, let's just say your average is about 40-ish years of retirement. That's early retirement, just for anybody, right? You still have a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of energy. You can still push a lot. Anybody who's outside in a regular job, whether it's whatever position you have, you're probably going to go to about 60. So
Yes.
it's almost like asking somebody who's worked the entire life to build a career, and at 45 you say, okay, you're done. You're just done with that. And you're like,
Yes.
wait a
Yep.
minute. Like you're kind of, I would almost imagine you're kind of like you're dropped off in an island, and you're like, your career's just been stripped away from you, and you're walking around like, okay, what am I going to do now? I don't even know where to start, right?
Yeah, and people don't even know what your accomplishments are. So you don't even, you're just starting from scratch, and you could have been a
Right,
highly decorated serviceman or servicewoman,
right. Yeah.
So it's really hard on some people.
Yes, I would imagine everybody takes it differently, right? Um,
Absolutely.
and I think, like you're mentioning about the Honors Foundation, it's a place to go to be able to help you transition, right?
Yep. And they have 9 different campuses, and actually from that organization, a friend of mine, a Navy SEAL, retired, started an app called Find a Fit. Find a Fit with two T's, FITT.com.
Mhm.
And basically a career compass. You can go on there as a veteran. You can input all your information from your MOS or rate, everything you've done, maybe your degrees. It'll ask you a few other questions, and it gives out 16 unique profiles. And it's going to kind of point you in a direction of industry for the civilian workforce.
Right.
So we just partnered with another organization called Relaunch, and we also have a contract with San Diego State University for veterans down there. And we like to partner with any other organization that has veterans to help them out. We don't want to come in there and take over anything. We want to offer this as a tool for any organization that wants to use it.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. Now, are all servicemen, do they all have access to some organization or another to be able to help them assimilate back into society? Or is that a struggle that you see the servicemen are encountering?
So the technical answer is yes. The real answer is no. So there's a program there's a mandatory program called TAPS. It's a transition program. I forget transition assistance program, TAPS.
Hmm.
It's mandatory, but nobody enforces it. Nobody checks it. And it's a 3-day program. And for somebody that was in the service for 21 years, what is 3 days going to show them? There's so many things you have to go over to transition.
Hmm.
So it needs to be revamped, and that's one
Hmm.
of my priorities is try to revamp that. So with Find a Fit, with some other things that I'm actually starting right now. So to go on to that, after the Honor Foundation, I went to USC and I got an MBA, but it was as a specialized MBA called an MBV. So it's a Master in Business for Veterans from
Oh,
Marshall.
interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I
my
went to
entire
Marshall there too.
did you
Yeah.
fight on?
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have
Yep.
one of my boys is a senior at SC too.
That's amazing. I was just there last night talking with a friend. I'm hoping to bring over to the organization I'm starting. So
Yeah.
I'm starting an organization called the Tech Vets, and it's an ecosystem of businesses. So it's going to be I have a charitable arm. I have a
Yeah.
business league for veterans,
Yeah.
and then it'll be a profitable arm, an LLC. And what we're going to do is we're going to tech scout. We're going to scout tech, and we're going to look for
Mhm.
tech that we can push into different government organizations like the Coast
Mhm.
Guard, the Marines, dual use.
Yes.
And we're going to basically research that, build portfolios, do performas on it, and then present those to different organizations to try to get these companies funded and get them in the right places. Because one
Hmm.
of the things we've noticed as veterans walking around these trade shows or job fairs is these startup companies happen and they have a cool product. A lot of them do, but they don't
Hmm.
know how to navigate the market. So
Hmm.
especially the government market. So if they're trying to get in the government and that's their only play, they just don't know how to navigate that. So one of the things I thought I would ask is, did you guys have a veteran on the team? So I was just at LA Tech Week, and every company that I saw there, I would ask them that. You guys have a veteran on the team? How are you trying to get in the government? And the majority of them said no. And I'm like, you guys are, just hire one to be a liaison.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of, what we're doing as well is we know all the programs. We're veterans. We've been there. We know what works. We know what doesn't. Um, and then the business league. So the business league, we're going to throw events. We're going to bring together founders, veterans, investors, academia, and then the government players, and like local government. And we're just going to start a community. That way, people know each other, and veterans can get connected to industry and the real players and stakeholders that we
Hmm.
need them to be
Hmm.
connected with. Because I think it's an underutilized job force.
Yeah, yeah. So that was going to be kind of my next question, is that you have this organization, yours, but there's also others that seem to have this huge amount of talent pool, right? You got veterans, they've already been trained, they have skills. But is the outside industry aware of this, where they know they can come back and tap this, right? That's the
Yeah,
important part, that'll be a catalyst for you guys and for our veterans, right? That you need somebody to fill a position. Let's say you're a company, you need somebody to fill a position. Well, instead of going outside and trying to find somebody, and then you have to train them, why not go to organizations such as yours or others and say, hey guys, I need somebody that has these skills to employ, and you can potentially get just maybe better quality trained personnel coming online, and you're helping a veteran
yeah,
at the same time assimilate back into society.
yeah. Danny. I mean, I totally agree with that. And one of the things I think my motto, and I think I heard this from another. I think it was Caleb Ralston from
Mm-hmm.
Gary V's team, but he
Right.
said he says hire for mindset and train for execution. And
Yeah.
when he said those simple words, it really made me think about my career. And that's really what the Coast Guard does. That's what all military service does. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get somebody that we think is like-minded, and then we'll train them,
Right.
you know.
Right. Exactly.
And
I
so
have.
that's really what I'm trying to do, is like create this pool and show people like, hey, these veterans can crush any mission you give them. If they're
Right.
like-minded with your organization and they fit in,
Right.
give them any job, give them any task.
Right. They're like, hey, I'll get it done. Like, there's nothing
Yep,
that I can't do. And I think that's
exactly.
especially the ones that come from the ops teams too,
Yep.
right? It's that mindset.
And that's the crazy part. That's kind of why what kind of inspired me to launch the Tech Vets is because I came from the Honor Foundation. Those are all special operations. People are connected to that community. I
Hmm.
also went to USC and got an MBA. And I
Right.
know people that have done the same thing and they can't find a job. And I'm like, you're a Navy SEAL. How? You
Right.
know? And
Yeah.
so that's just it really was troubling to me. And I was trying to solve the problem for a long time. I think
Hmm.
I've been thinking about it since I retired,
Hmm.
and I've been diligently researching things and looking at things. And I think I've actually figured it out now what it is. It's a community. It's bringing people together. It's
Hmm.
empowering them with the
Hmm.
right knowledge and tools. And then
Right.
it's just kind of
Right.
growing your network.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And it's people that we should help, because look at you guys defend our country and give us the freedom that we have. We should all be grateful and be willing to give back by helping one way or another. Maybe we can't help today, but maybe we know somebody that we can connect. That's why doing this podcast, I get to meet interesting people such as yourselves. And then it's like, if I hear of something, or maybe somebody who's listening hears of something, then may make that connection and be able to contribute.
Yeah. And we get that a lot. It's thank you for your service, but I
Mhm.
always bring it back to the person that says that. If they didn't serve, or they said, I wish I could have served, but actually every American does serve. If you're out there and you're doing your job and you're contributing to our community and our society, then
Hmm.
everybody's serving this country. And I think if we
Right.
can come together as more of a community and more
Right.
as the people of this country instead of so segregated, I think, we can accomplish so much more.
100% work as a nation, stand
Yep.
one together. I mean, we should not be divided, not, and this is not trying to get political. We should all work
Oh, yeah.
together as
Yep.
a team. I mean, at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of everybody in this country.
I bring this up a lot because people ask me a lot. You said political. Well, in the Coast Guard or in the military, you just have to be basically apolitical, right? You can't just
Hmm.
you just have to. You have your commander in chief, and that's your boss, and
Hmm.
you really don't talk about politics. So I was kind of always just never really talked about it. I never had a side, and I just was proud to be part of an American. I was proud to be an American. I was proud to
Right.
be in the military and doing what I was
Hmm.
doing. And so when people ask me all the time, I just say I'm here for the country. I'm here for the Constitution. I think if we
Yeah.
came together as people, that's really I love people.
Right. Right. I agree. That's the way we should all think that way. right?
Yep.
It's like, let's
And
make
you know,
choices.
that was the point I was gonna make. In the military, you have so much diversity, and you know, you might think differently, but you
Hmm.
still have to do the same job. The same mission has to get accomplished. So it doesn't matter
Hmm.
what, you know, you might have a different opinion than me, but we still are going to be friends and we're still going to make this happen.
We got to work together side by side. So
Yep.
yeah, yeah, no, it's very true, very true. No, that's great stuff, Daniel. What does the next 6 to 12 months look like for you? What's exciting in the horizon?
Oof. Well, I have a meeting tomorrow with 8 other people that I think are under underutilized and overlooked. And I think they're some of the brightest people I've ever met. And we're coming together tomorrow, and we're going to launch this ecosystem. We're going to launch 3 tools. They're going to be AI driven. They're going to help cut through the noise of the government contracting. They're
Hmm.
going to, so that'll be one tool. The other tool will help cut through the noise of the job market for veterans. And then
Hmm.
the other tool would be to help companies find veterans that are actually vetted through our company, and have a profile built on them, like you were
Hmm.
suggesting. And so they can tap in and say, hey, we need a project manager. They can tap into
Hmm.
the tech vets and find the veteran of their choice, really, because we'll have profiles
Right,
built up on them.
right, right,
Um,
right.
Yep. What kind of inspired me was my LinkedIn. I launched it. It really started with a hashtag. I was trying to create a community. I was trying to bring veterans together. Started with a hashtag the tech vets. And from there it just grew and grew and grew. And now I literally launched 3 different businesses and created an ecosystem. So 501 C3, that's going to be the Tech Vets Foundation.
Hmm.
Like I said, that's going to be a charitable arm, and we're going to help veterans find jobs and navigate the VA and
Hmm.
things like that. And it's ran by a licensed mental health professional. And
Hmm.
then the Business League of 501c6, that's going to be a membership base invite membership business league. And we're
Hmm.
going to basically bring the top talent of veterans together. So, you
Hmm.
know, veterans that are looking to accomplish more and try to
Right,
serve the
right, right,
country after taking our uniforms off. So like,
right.
you know, we can still serve this country. Like I was saying, everybody serves this country. You serve the country by having me on this podcast, and I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, no, glad to have you on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, so I'm excited for that. I think we're going to build something incredible. I think that's we're going to try to launch that in the new year
hmm.
for our events. We're going to be nationwide, like I said, and
Right, right.
we're going to throw events and socials, and people will be invited, and everybody in Orange County. That's kind of going to be my home base is Orange County, and so you know, we have allies in LA and Riverside and all the surrounding areas, and we're just trying to bring tech back to California, trying to create a advanced manufacturing corridor in Southern California,
Hmm.
bringing
Well,
jobs back to California and manufacturing back to California.
there you go. Amazing stuff. Yeah. Now, thanks so much for sharing and congratulations on what you're doing. And once again, thank you for your service. If somebody is listening and they want to get a hold of you, whether they want to use your service or contribute or hire from you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
So that would be my LinkedIn. So you just go to my LinkedIn and search Daniel Hendrix, Dan Hendrix, Hendrix like Jimi Hendrix with an X,
There you
and
go.
then you'll find me, connect with me, and DM me, and we'll chat. I meet with everybody, anybody that wants to meet. I'll take a meeting. You know, you never know who you're going to
Right.
meet.
Right.
So
100%. Well,
yeah,
thank you so much for coming on, Daniel, and sharing such a wonderful story.
I truly appreciate you. Appreciate your time, and yeah, fight on.
Very good. Fight on, fight on. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.